live at the residence of Shawn
Hey,
Porter.
turn it down?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You gotta turn the fight down. Wait, why are we not moving as people?
I don't know.
All right, live FightHype live at the residence of Showtime Shawn Porter.
That is embarrassing.
Sean, we were going crazy for that fight. What did you think of the fight just now, Teofimo versus Lomachenko?
It didn't disappoint. I just read a text from my dad. He said, horrible strategy. I agree. It looks like they wanted to take Lopez deep into the fight. And some of us can just swim, to say the least. And Lopez proved that not only can he swim, but he's a shark.
What was, I know, the plan was to get him to deep water, so Loma's taking his time early, but what was Teofimo able to do to get the advantage?
You know what? One thing we spoke about on the Puerto Rico podcast is we talked about Lopez getting Lomachenko's respect early, and he got the respect from the grip, from the grip. And I think that Lomachenko came in with this unspoken respect that I don't think any of us knew he had, but from the very beginning of the fight, you could tell that he respected his power. Lomachenko respected Lopez's power, and he wasn't willing to just step in there and let his offense go. You talk about a fighter who starts off slow. That may be something that Lopez recognized and his camp recognized in Lomachenko, and they really never let Lomachenko get started until the later half of the fight.
What was Loma doing right to get going in the second half?
The second half, he was, ironic enough, he was letting his hands go. He was doubling up with the jab and then also throwing straight lefts. And I think he took away from what he could have accomplished earlier on in the fight. But let's turn the page back to Lopez. He came out with a blazing fast jab. He demanded that respect at the very beginning of the fight, and he really never let off of the gas pedal. I think, if anything, there were a few lapses where it looked to me like Lomachenko was still fast and still sharper than Lopez expected him to be. His hands were down, and he was getting caught. And he weathered those small storms, which is, again, 23
Yeah, what'd you think of his ability to it looked like he had to dig deep. He was maybe fatigued in them championship rounds.
It looked like a few. There were moments where he looked fatigued. There were moments where Lomachenko got off where he didn't earlier in the fight. So we would call that going to sleep, but I don't think Lopez necessarily went to sleep. I just think that Lomachenko started to do some things that the rhythm of the fight had never been at that point for Lomachenko, and I think Lopez really didn't adjust to it. And when he began to adjust to it, his adjustment was push him off, get space, and hit him hard. And it proved to work tonight.
What Teofimo showed tonight that people didn't expect that got it done?
You know what? The number one thing I saw from him was the IQ, and I think I think a lot of boxers especially talk about their IQ in the ring, and I think a lot of those guys don't really understand what a high IQ for boxing really is. I think it right now just kind of is the coin phrase in boxing to me, but you can tell that Lopez, when he was offensive, he knew what he wanted to do, but he was also defensive at the same time. And then when he was defensive, very quick with his counters. A lot of the counter uppercuts didn't land, but they were still very fast and very sharp. And then he began to throw counter right hands, and just kind of he flowed with the fight. It was awesome.
How's this kid got a 23-year-old young man have such a good IQ already? I mean, I know
I think it's dedication. I think he's dedicated to his craft. I think he's dedicated to being the best. Clearly dedicated to being undisputed, which he is now. And, I think he's dedicated to all of his goals. And it really showed up tonight.
Are you proud of him as a guy who knew him before he even went pro? He used
know
to
what?
stop in your gym.
I'm proud of him just because of seeing what he's been able to accomplish. Even if I hadn't met him one time and I really didn't know him, I still would be proud of him. I mean, he's 23 years old and the most vicious sport to even compete in and be in and grow in and now thrive in. And it's just so much to be proud of him for. And that's given not even knowing him.
Do you think this was good for the sport and it'll encourage guys 23, 24, 22 years old to, don't wait years. Go for it. Go for the greatness.
You know what? I think he's showing that he's in the class of his own right now. There's a couple other young guys who are coming up who are right there with him. They need those opportunities as well to show it and prove it. But I think for the most part, he's in the class of his own. When you say that, it would motivate a lot of other young fighters to get in the ring and do this, but are they really ready for it? Lopez proved that he was ready for it tonight. So to me, he had to have his hand raised tonight. I think he did enough in every single round of this fight to have his hand raised. There was a score 119 to
109.
109.
That's pretty rough.
That's a rough score. I was more privy to the 116. What is that? 116, 115? 112. 116, 112. Yeah, I was more privy to that. I think that was much fair. I gave Lomachenko a majority of the later rounds, but I think I gave him rounds 7, 8, and 9, and 10 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there it just became close again. I really thought that Lomachenko needed at least one knockdown to score a draw and 2 knockdowns to score a win. So I think, to really just put it all in a nutshell, I think Lopez came out early and he established who he was in the ring. I think Vasiliy came into the ring with more respect than he should have had for Lopez and his power. I think.
You don't think it was Lopez actually earned it early in the fight, or you think it was in
both.
there heading in?
It was definitely a combination of both. I think he came out pumping the jab, the speed, the quickness, and in his eyes you could see I'm focused. You could see the tenacity in his eyes, and you could tell that he was not going to take any steps back early on in that fight. And I think he immediately got Lomachenko's respect, and the fight just kind of played itself out.
And lastly, Shawn, I know you got a big show tomorrow, Sunday. The Porter Way will be debuting Tuesday as always.
Yes, sir.
Who do you want to see Teofimo with? I know you hate that who's next, but Tank or Devin?
I definitely want Teo to enjoy this fight. We have an opportunity to speak to him, even if it's not tomorrow, but even if it's soon. I don't expect those words, hey, what's next for you?
You're not going to ask
to come out of my mouth, no, because, one thing that I've learned as a fighter and as a champion is that no one gives you an opportunity to really just sit back and reflect on what just happened. Everybody wants to know, what's next? So, however, eventually you do have to answer that question, what's next? I think it's too soon for Devin Haney and Lopez. I think even though Devin Haney does have the WBC title, I just think both of these guys need to do a little bit more for the public to be aware. Yeah, I think it needs to marinate a little bit. The public needs to be well aware of who Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney are before they get in the ring. But, I mean, if we're looking at the landscape of boxing right now, I don't think there's a better fight out there for the world or for those guys right now than fighting each other.
Right. It's just... they deserve to make that to build that up.
It's got to be a big fight.
Yeah.
That's got to be a big fight.
They'd be selling themselves short, right?
Yeah, I think
even though I want to see, I'm down to watch it right now.
And I think a lot of times people are like, oh, what are they waiting on? What are they waiting on? Fight. Why would you fight anyone else? But the fact of the matter is, they're showing MLB right now. They're showing MLB highlights right now. They're not showing highlights of the fight. They're showing highlights of MLB.
On SportsCenter.
There's a lot that's got to be done in order for these guys to get in the ring and for everyone to know that they're in the ring. So, great part about it is the fight went on right before these MLB highlights. There's a lot of people that are looking for MLB highlights that saw the fight, but you need more of that, especially when you're talking about two young, hot warriors like Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez.
Well, maybe him and Davis is ready then, now. But
I don't want to see that. Okay. Especially we got Leo and Tank going in the ring. So
you're like first things first.
First things first. But even aside from that, I really do think that between 130 and 135, I think Tank is the most dangerous fighter in the world at those weight classes.
Even with Teofimo now being the crown king, you still got Tank is that most dangerous guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, we picked Lomachenko because Lomachenko's proven. We picked Lomachenko because Lomachenko's got experience, and we've seen what he's done against the top elite guys. Today is the first. Oh, there we go. We got the highlights that we need from boxing. Yeah, I don't think you can do that. Maybe you can do that.
So I think
won't do it tomorrow.
I think we got a half second. I think we could sneak it.
But this is what boxing needs. But going back to it, again, and Lomachenko was proven he did it against the most elite, and now we've seen Lopez do it against the top, the cream of the crop, and so now I think I'd like to see him do it again. I'd like to see him have another great fight, and I think that again, going back to Tank, he is, I think, the most dangerous fighter at 130, 135. And so, that's another one that you really just got to strap up for. I know what it's like to have a camp like this. And Lopez said to us in the interview, I'm wore out. I'm exhausted. Mm-hmm. He's not exhausted to the point where he couldn't fight. He proved that tonight. However, it's exhausting, man. It's tough to get prepared for, and it's tough to actually get in the ring and do it, So the kid needs to rest up. And he needs to come back when he's ready and, have another great fight and have some more momentum before he gets in the ring with someone like Tank Davis.
Thanks so much, Shawn. I'm sure Teo couldn't have done it without stopping in the Porter Performance Center first back in 2016.
I'm proud of that kid, man. I'm very proud of him. Done a terrific job. Undisputed.
I know, isn't that something? Man. Thanks so much, Shawn.
You got it.